Welcome back to Lax Rats TV. This is the PLL Week 2 recap. Let's kick it off with the predictions that we made for the weekend. We were 3-1 in the 4 games. The games generally went the way that we expected them to. Blaze ate up the tough shots from Denver. Philly's offense absolutely popped off and proved me wrong. Boston and Utah lived up to the game of the week prediction, and California ended up outpacing Carolina on the heels of their doubleheader. So let's get right into it. We do 3 stars, then we do positive and negative points for each team and hit you quick with them. So Denver, Carolina, 3 stars. Carolina, Reardon, Scott, Degnon, and for Denver, O'Neal, Manley, Pacino. Positive for Carolina. Blaze is the best goalie I've ever watched play in my life. No exaggeration. In my 22 years on this earth, I have never seen somebody be a better lacrosse goalie. He's the model of consistency. Week in and week out, he's making saves. He's never really, I can't recall a bad week he's had. I really can't. I've never watched a game and said Blaze should have had that, or, Blaze was the reason that they didn't win this game or whatever. It's just not something that's ever happened. The offense certainly still isn't eye-popping, but they have the ability to go on runs when they need to, which we saw in the game. You got Ross Scott, who's such a tough cover. He's so fast, and when you surround him by shooters like Eicher and Degnon, I'm not saying that this is a top offense in the league by any means, but they're an offense that has the ability to go on runs, and they got hot when they needed to. Negative points, really none, honestly. This was a staple chaos win. If the Chaos are going to make the playoffs, if they're going to make any noise in the regular season at all, this is how they're going to do it. Defense forcing hard shots that Blaze can eat up, and then the offense just getting hot at the right time, which they did. For Denver, positives, talent's still off the charts. You talk about the Torton quad, they haven't really even started balling. Pat Cav has been creating a ton of shots. He hasn't been hitting them at the clip that we're used to seeing. So when he heats up, who knows? Bernhardt, obviously, this was his first game back in 3 years, I think. There's an argument to be made that was the most athletic player on the entire field. I think he still has to get his feel for lacrosse back, but his upside is massive. Brennan O'Neal still, for my money, he's the hardest one-on-one cover in the league. So the potential's there, but they're gonna have to put it together soon here because we're 2 weeks in, and we've seen 2 tough losses for him. But another positive, I think we'll see McEnany. Honestly, if I was Stagnita, I think I would have put him in at halftime last game. With McElroy at 47%, 37% the last 2 weeks, I find it hard to believe that they're not going to start McEnany next week. Negative, obviously, it's pretty obvious. 0-2 start. Both losses, conference losses, which looks really bad for playoff chances. And right now, their playoff chances are probably the slimmest in the league. 8 games to get back on track, 4 of which are in conference. So, those 4 games are going to be absolutely crucial for them because this is a team that really can make noise if they peak at the right time, if they can put it together offensively and play more as a group of 6 rather than 1 or 2. So I hope for Denver's sake that they can put it together in the next couple of weeks and win those conference games so that we can see them playing playoff lacrosse. Philly, Maryland, 3 stars. For Philly, Sowers, McCardle, McConvey, and for Maryland, Malone, Nardella, and Carroll. Philly, positive. This team could win games just on the offensive side of the field. This offense looked elite. The pieces are perfect. Sowers looked absolutely peaked. He looked like 2021 or 2020 Sowers, 49 points, 5 games. That's what he looked like. He was absolutely off the charts, creating advantages and feeding the ball. He had 7 assists. He played outstanding. And when you surround a guy like him with the goal scorers and off-ball gurus that they have with McCardle, McConvey, Taylor, this offense is really coming together. And this was only their first week. And then you have, elite backside dodging, secondary scoring ability from a guy like Jack Hanna. So I absolutely love this offense. I think this offense has the ability to really take them far and carry this team a long way. Negatives, nothing was too glaring. They were a little buttoned in some of the sub stuff. Levi tied the game. I think this was their only goal at the half. Levi tied the game at 12s. In the second half off of a 6-5 subbing advantage. A couple shot clock violations that didn't end in any sort of scoring opportunity, which was a little disappointing, but it's their week 1. I don't want to overreact. I'm sure that they're going to, I'm sure those are points they're hitting in film and they're going to improve upon. Maryland positives. Like, honestly, not many. Like, their guys are their guys. They've got Nardella, they got Malone. Like, they know who their dudes are. I just wish that they got those guys, that they got like Malone the ball more when they needed a spark. Feed your best player the ball, set him some picks. Just try to get something going. I don't mind. I actually like the Levi sub in for Rambo, decision by Stagnita, but I was disappointed that when they really had nothing going for them, they weren't just getting their best player the ball in Malone. So negatives, like 1 goal scored in the second half. There's really not much else to say. Like, the offense was so stagnant. They weren't winning any matchups. I don't know. I mean, there also might be a goalie issue in Maryland. Honestly, Krebs was 42% week 1 and Carroll was 37% week 2. Defense wasn't helping their tenders much either, though. Like, Sowers 7 assists, like, those were all crease dunks. So, like, I don't know what Carroll was supposed to do, but like, it just looks like a bit of a mess. I think that they're gonna have a tough week in the film room together. I mean, they also, like, they played Utah to 1 goal in week 1. Like, I know it's week 1. I know it was in the rain, but like, I mean, Utah's a legit team. So who knows? I hope they can put it together, but we'll see. Boston, Utah, game of the week, obviously. 3 stars for Boston: Holman, Colin Kirst, and Ramsey. For Utah, Hossack, Dobson, and Williams. Boston positives: defense looked legit. Utah was turning the ball over a lot. Offense looked a little ugly at times, sure, but Boston C was just ruthless. Keelty and Epple are absolutely terrifying. You had absolutely heroic plays by Grant and Ramsey, which ended up giving Holman the opportunity to win the game at the end there. They got 2 goals from non-offense with Ramsey's goal at the very end to tie it, and with Tucci's goal, which is just, I mean, if you're getting 2 goals outside of traditional offense, 6-on-6 like that, that's a great stat, especially in a low-scoring game like that. Negative is just that 6 offensive goals because of Tucci and Ramsey, their tallies. So they didn't win I'm obviously a Boston fan, so I was hoping we'd win a couple more one-on-one matchups. It didn't really happen. Utah's a team that's built on defense. They're, for my money, I think they're the best them or Carolina's the two best defensive teams in the league. Utah's a more complete defense. I mean, regardless, I think they match up really well with us. I think Hossack's maybe the only pole that can guard Knowlton like that in the league. So, I don't overthink it this week in the film room. Boston, like, I think obviously found a way to get it done, which is all that really matters. But for Utah, positive, like, similar to Blaze, Dobson has the ability to single-handedly keep Utah in games. I hope his ankle injury isn't too serious, because if he's playing, Utah won't lose. If all their losses this year are going to be by 1 or 2 goals, they're never going to find themselves out of a game. In the minus, I blame the offensive woes on week 1 in the rain last week, but I'm struggling to justify this one a little bit. Utah has all the pieces offensively; they really do. We're still waiting for them to kind of put it together, but like, everything just feels a bit off. Like the turnovers were crazy. There was just like too many balls thrown away. Just guys not on the same page, which is surprising from this team. But it's tough to really criticize them because, like, the last 2 years they've showed us that they peak at the right time. So, obviously en route to their 2 championships. So, I don't think it's time to raise any alarm bells yet on the offense. Their defense is a championship defense, so they're gonna have a couple more. They're gonna have time. They're gonna win games just based on their defense. They're gonna have time to put their offense together. But once this offense gets clicking, this team will be terrifying, to say the least. Last game of the week: Carolina, California. 3 stars for Carolina: Cheryl Embiid's, Newman, and Ray, and for California, Malloy, McAdory, and Cohen. The California stars were hard to pick. I feel like I could have picked 10 guys. This team popped off. Pluses and minuses. We already did Carolina pluses and minuses for the weekend, so we'll just do California. Pluses, just like last week: juice, speed, energy, youth. This is just a team that's fast and fun. At the end of the day, I'm not sure there's a team in the league that can keep up with them when they're really running and gunning. They'll always have the ability to go on runs. Like, they're never going to find themselves out of a game just because of the nature of how they play and the pieces they have. Like, they could put up. I mean, they put up 9 goals in the second quarter, I believe, in this game. So, like, they're a team that's you can really never count them out just because of their speed and skill. Negatives: 2-0, but against the bottom 2 teams in Lax Rats TV Week 2 Power Rankings. So there really were not many negatives from this game. So, but like, I just want to see him play some real complete teams. Like, I'd love to see them play like a Utah or a Boston or New York and really test them in all aspects of the field, not just a team that's heavily relying on one thing over the other, but a proven team. They play Utah this week, so that'll be a good matchup. That'll actually be a very interesting game to watch. So something to keep our eye on. At the end of the day, the Week 3 power rankings, plenty of movement here. We've got the Cannons overtaking the number 1 spot with their win against the Archers. We've got Utah in the 2, New York in the 3, and then Philly jumped up to the 4, California to the 5, Maryland dropped to the 6, Carolina and Denver rounded out at 7 and 8. That was the PLL Week 2 recap, and we'll catch you later in the week for the Week 3 preview. Thanks for watching.